Speaking of the Randolphs, let me ask you this: How do you feel? How do y'all feel about hyphenating the name? Because
No.
okay, okay, I feel the
We were
same
just
way.
talking
Ray.
about this the other day to my little cousin.
Yeah.
Two flesh become one. The Lord ain't saying nothing about hyphenating your name. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
What are you holding on to your name for? It's gone. Goodbye. Good night. Leave it alone. That's honoring your husband. I'm sorry.
It is. It
It's
is.
honoring in that.
Yeah.
To me, you're not ready. You're not ready to submit yourself under God, submit yourself under your husband. You're not. Anytime you need to keep a part of yourself that don't need to be there, you're
Yeah.
not ready. Because
Now,
that's all it is.
now we can agree if a brand is already established.
I'm still going to change my name.
Welcome to the Pattern Disruption Podcast. This is the show where we break through the noise and we dive into the stories of those who've shaken up the game. I'm your host, Eric Rhymes, and every week I bring you real, raw conversations with entrepreneurs, educators, entertainers, and all-around creatives who went from the shadows to the spotlight. So if you want to see what it takes to rise above the rest, you're in the right place. Let's break some patterns and start the show. Love, passion, and 25 years of unshakable commitment. Ray and D'Wanna Randolph don't just talk about marriage, they live it. As founders of Covenant Keepers, they help couples build thriving relationships, and now they're sharing even more in their new book, Honor the Vow. Get ready for real talk, wisdom, and a little heat. Pattern disruption style, y'all. So I want to welcome Ray and D'Wanna Randolph to the stage. What's up, y'all?
What's up, baby?
First and foremost, you guys are not only examples of what God can do with faith and commitment, but you also are examples of consistency. Because I've watched y'all for the years. Actually, when I first met you, D'Wanna, y'all were doing a show. What was the name of that show?
Motor City Wives.
Motor City Wives, which was a reality show with some of Detroit's finest ladies. And I don't know exactly what happened with the show, but I do want to say that even then, y'all were doing your thing. So I just want to welcome y'all to the show.
Thank you for having us.
So we're gonna get.
I got on our high school colors today. You know what I'm saying? That black and gold, baby.
Oh yeah, I see you, man. I see you. You already know what it is. Well, listen. So Ray and D'Wanna, 25 years of marriage is a huge milestone. Take us back to how did y'all love story begin?
So I was at work, and of course, everybody knows what my profession is, police officer for Detroit. I was at work, and my partner and I, we had a mental guy, and at the time, Mercy Hospital was open over there on Connors and Shoemaker, and
Okay.
she was nursing in the ER over there. So we took her her first psych patient, and the psych patient had scabies.
Mm-hmm.
And when we didn't know he had scabies, but when we took him in, they found he had scabies. She got mad because she had to deal with him or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had to decontaminate him or whatever. So, with her being upset, we were waiting on the chart number so we could leave. Well, she withheld the chart number from me for like 2 hours, right? So within that 2 hours, we sat and talked the whole time, right? So, without going into a whole bunch of detail, after we talked and, as I was walking out, I knew right then, I was going to marry this woman. So.
You know what? They say you'll know in moments.
You do.
And I can't say that me and my ex-wife knew each other for 15 years. So, right. So, but anyway, no, that's what's up, man. So y'all talked, you knew. D'Wanna, so what was your sentiments after the conversation?
Ray was smooth. So when he actually walked back out of when I saw him walk away from me and walk out of the ER, we talked for 2 hours. Like he said, I was like, oh, that's gonna be my husband right there. So we literally
Wow.
both said the exact same thing without even knowing that we had said that about one another. So I told the whole ER, like I was like the baby of the ER at the time. So they kind of let me get away with stuff that you typically don't let people get away with. Sitting there talking to him, for instance, for 2 hours. You just don't get to do that. So
So
yeah.
they knew they must have felt the energy in the room, like, because when God, when it's ordained like that, people usually break the rules. They can't help it.
Yeah.
It's no other way around. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
So beating the odds, though, y'all build a legacy of love in a world where long-term marriage seems rare. What has been the key to not just staying together but truly thriving?
God. At the end of the day, God, because when we first got married, we were young, and neither one of us we didn't know what we were doing. I didn't know how to be nothing about being no husband. She didn't know anything about being a wife. I mean, we knew, the basic stuff, as far as the commitment to each other and being faithful, those type of things. But we didn't understand it going in. What was to come. You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's what our conversation was about in the ER. We talked about, if we got married and certain instances happen, like, what if we get married and a week later after getting married, I get into a car accident, now I'm a paraplegic, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the kind of conversations that we have, because people don't talk about that kind of stuff going into it. You get what I'm saying? Because
Right.
you discover at that time where a person's head is. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't think about that.
That's the conversation y'all had in those 2 hours?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know it's surprising, but that's what we talk about, right?
We talked about what you want to do, and first of all, do you have a man and all that, all the
Yeah, usually that's what people talk about.
Yeah, we talked about that too. He was very direct with that.
Yeah, because you don't want to seem too serious too soon, but when it's, because you don't want to seem pressed, but when it's ordained.
He was the
Okay.
serious. He was.
So,
I mean, I was serious because I'm just that type of girl. Like, I don't like to be, date this guy, date this guy. I don't like dating everybody. That wasn't ever my thing. So I like to be a one woman man, if you will. I never wanted to just date around. So I always wanted to be married. And actually, right, I just broke up with my ex actually, right before I met him. And it's crazy because I saw him in the ER before I broke up with my ex, and had he approached me then, I would have told him I had a boyfriend. But
yeah.
he came back a couple weeks later, and then at that point I had just broke up with my ex-boyfriend. So I was a free agent, and we just talked, and then like I actually invited him over to my house. It was relatively fast, but he was really, just our conversation was very serious. The onset of our conversation was really serious. It was really to the wire. Okay, what you trying to do? What you doing? Okay, well, this here. And then when he came over, I always say he spent the night and never left, because that's kind of what happened. And so, we're really transparent. We were 20.
I was 21.
No, you were 22 when I met you. 22.
Yeah,
and I was 24.
And she was 24, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had my own place. He had his own place. So when he came over, he was talking all this talk. I was just like, okay, let's see what you're talking about. And then he kept talking marriage, like he was really persistent about marriage. Like, more, I never mentioned marriage, like, until he asked me about it.
At 21, you were talking marriage. At 21.
He was 22.
22, you were talking marriage. Okay.
Yeah. At 22, that was the scary part for me, because I'm like, because he came in just like, okay, what you trying to do? Where you see yourself in 5 years? I'm like, who asks questions like that? Like, where you see yourself in 5 years? And he was like, I'm like, well, I see myself the first thing I said married. I said I'll probably be married, nursing.
No, what you said was you wanted to be married by 25.
Oh yeah, I did say that. I said I wanted to be. That was my prayer. I always prayed and asked God to be married by the age of 25, and that was just something I desired. I didn't think that it was going to happen. I mean, I'm already 24, so
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, we were talking and everything just progressively every time it came back around, the subject matter was marriage. Like, okay, what else? I'm like, maybe a couple kids, maybe one more kid, maybe two, not too many. I didn't want like a house full of kids. I didn't want a school of kids. And
right.
Yeah, that was great. Basically our conversation. So with that, I invited him over, and like I said, he spent the night. Well, that first night he didn't spend the night.
No,
he spent the night on the third night. The third night.
But she was like, she's like, my kids, so you can't stay here. I was like, well, I wasn't trying to stay,
Yeah, I was like, no, my kids can't see you here. Like, I was very, I'm a Southern girl, so certain things we don't do. My mother never did that.
So you had children already?
Yes, we had two kids, a boy and a girl.
Kids. Okay, Ray, did you have any kids?
No.
Okay, had you been married, D'Wanna? Either one of y'all had never been married?
He had been engaged.
I was engaged once, but that was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was engaged, but it wasn't for real. He was really engaged for real.
Yeah. Because he initiated it, so yeah, he was really engaged.
Yeah.
Yours was up in the air until they.
Messed up.
Exactly. All right, so okay, so that means okay, y'all. Ray, you sound like you knew what you wanted to do because you were already working in law enforcement, right?
Right. I think I was
3 years.
I was 3 years in, and to be candid, right before I met her, I was done with dating black women.
Already?
Listen.
First of all,
what?
He been around.
Oh, man, don't say it like that.
Listen. So you say you were done. You had dated black women. So the woman that you proposed to, she was black.
Yep.
Okay, and that didn't go right, and it probably put a little.
It wasn't even just that one experience. It was just when I was dating, it was just always something. Either I was too nice, I didn't make enough money, or I wasn't aggressive enough. I wasn't. And that's just not me. I don't argue with women. I just don't do it. And if you got a big mouth and you got all that mouth and stuff, I can't do that.
Right. You say I do that at my job every day. I'm not about to come home and do it.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about your background, Ray. Because you're from Detroit.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about how you were raised.
Born and raised, my mom raised 3 boys by herself. All 3 of my brothers, we all went to King. I grew up in that area.
Okay. Was Dad in the house?
No, Dad wasn't in the house. My mom was single mom. I mean, she dated or whatever, but I did have a stepfather for a couple of years, and that didn't go well. So they ended up getting divorced. So I mean, like when I got around, when I became a senior in high school, I already knew what I wanted to do in my life. You know what I'm saying? I wanted a family. It was just certain things, a lot of things that I wanted that I didn't have. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, which was, a lot of family around, where your uncles and aunts is always around. You're always around your cousins all the time. It was just certain things I wanted. So I was just going to build that for myself. I had that in my mind. To be honest with you, I wanted to be married at 18 as soon as I graduated from high school. I just didn't want to go through all the dating and stuff. I wanted to be married, start building a life. I had goals and aspirations, man. So, And
so you were just you were pretty much an outlier, man, from where you come from. You were because me in high school, I don't remember not one person verbalizing that. And it sounded like you would have told me if I would have asked you back then.
Probably
you knew.
So,
yeah, you knew.
I mean, I have. Don't get me wrong. I have my fun dating. You know what I'm saying? I played the field, as they say, but I didn't play very long, man, because I just
you knew
it's a lot of work, man, when you dating. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just a one woman man. That's just how I'm built. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for everybody else. That's just how I'm built. You know, that's the way God made me. So
Well, you know what's ironic is I we've never had the conversation about your personality. You know what I'm saying? We've been working together at one point. I see you on your job, but other than that, I never knew what your personality was. We didn't hang out in school or anything. So
right.
hearing you, it makes sense now. This quick into the interview, it all makes sense because when you look at D'Wanna, she has a big personality, and one would think that she is the energy that's kind of, you're the clay, and she puts you in her, because a lot of times that's how women's, okay, what's an episode for us sometimes is a life for them. That's their life. Love is their life.
Right.
You know, I've had episodes of love, but it's not my life.
Right.
So, but hearing you, that's who you are as well. And okay, so that definitely makes sense. That makes sense. Um, and that's good, man, because that's the type of examples that our community needs to see. Men with that type of lead in that manner. You know what I mean? Because I was about to ask you. So did stepdaddy do it? Did your dad? Did you know your real dad?
Yeah. I knew my real dad.
Okay.
My stepdad, he was, he had his flaws or whatever, but you know, I had enough men in my life.
Yeah.
To have certain examples of, how to be as a man. I never make the excuse that because my dad wasn't in the house that I didn't have examples of men in my life. Because when you play sports like I do, you around men all the time, and those men, they don't just coach you, they teach you, they give you lessons, life lessons. You know what I'm saying? And those, why they coaching you. So, it was no excuse for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I ain't gonna, talk like I was perfect, but I knew right from wrong, and I knew, I was taught the do's and don'ts of life, and if I had questions about girls or something, it was plenty of men in my life that I could talk to about it. So.
Your dad was around.
Yeah, my dad was around.
Yeah.
He just wasn't in the house.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Now, was he married?
To my mama.
Okay.
But after that, he never got married again. He never had no other kids. We was his. Me and my brother that was his main priority. So,
D'Wanna, tell me a little bit about your background how were you raised?
So, again, I'm a Southern girl with city swag. I always say that because my tradition, like looking at me, people always think like, okay, Detroit, yeah, but my core is I like tradition. I like, I'm a homebody. My mom raised, it was 3 girls and 3 boys, and in the South, you're kind of groomed to be a wife, if you will. They teach you early on how to wash clothes, how to do dishes, how to, just all the homemaker stuff. You know what I mean? They teach you what it is to be a lady. And my mother kind of drilled that in us, when it came down to being, because we represent her when we leave the house. So I have a lot of traditions, but I have a lot of, I don't mind the modernistic world a little. Some of it I do, and it's like, but then more so of me, I'll say I'm a traditionalist. I like tradition. I like, men leading. I like me cooking his dinner, me serving my husband, the things per like how God designed it, if you will.
Yeah, most definitely.
So I'm definitely her, but I have this other side of me that's really outgoing. I like you said, I have a big personality, and I know what I want, and I'm just one of those really zero tolerance type of people. Because if it's working, it's working. If it's not, it's not. You're not about to sit here and shut corner and act like everything is copacetic when it's not. So we're gonna move productively as adults and move on. If it works, like I said, it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. So, but yeah, always knew I wanted to be a wife too. I always knew I wanted to be married. Like every young girl dreams of getting married at 16 years old. I said I want to be married at 25. So I knew I wanted to be married.
Okay. Okay. And what school did you go to?
I went to Dominican.
Dominican.
Mhm.
We used to be up at Dominican, just up
I'm
at
sure.
Dominican. Yeah. Okay. So east side, west side.
East side.
Okay, east side. What area?
I lived. Well, I lived on when I was with my mom. I lived on Outer Drive in Amdale.
Okay.
Front of house.
Down the street
So,
from me. That's where my place. Yeah, I'm out of drive.
yeah.
And Ray, were you downtown area or were you near the school?
Yeah, I was downtown. Well, you know where Ralph Bunch, the King
Yeah.
Homes. Yeah, down there in that area.
Okay, so not Mac and Mount Elliott, right?
Well, no, we was like Lafayette and Shane.
Okay.
That's where he grew up at.
That's where I grew up at.
Yeah. And then you were out of drive area. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we
Okay.
bought our house actually east. Our first house we bought.
Yeah, I know. That's the house I came to off of Warren, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We got married in 9 months after meeting each other.
Yep.
And we bought the house 8 months after we got married because Ray didn't want to. I had my own place. I had the house, but he lived in an apartment. He lived at Jean Rivard.
Yeah, it's right there on 75 in Lafayette.
Yeah, right there.
Apartments right there.
Where you come up off 75 and when you coming downtown. What's that, Sunoco gas station? What was it?
Speedway.
Speedway.
It's
So
opposite side of the Speedway.
Speedway.
That's where I was staying.
Right. So he lived there and I lived in a house. And because I had the children, it just made sense for him to move in with us. We were trying to move into his place, but
it was too small.
It wasn't gonna work with the kids. So we kind of moved over to my place, but then it was my place. You know, it was like, oh, it's your house.
Yeah,
right.
I was like, we gotta get a house because I don't feel like this is
our house.
Our house.
Yeah.
This is something you established.
That's always a thing too. Like that's always a thing.
That's just men. Real men do real things. You know what I'm saying? He told me from day one, he's like, we're gonna get our own house. Like when we were dating, he was like, well, we're gonna get a house together. Like we're gonna go into something together and where it's ours together. And that was something he was kind of adamant about when we first met. So I'm like, okay, as long as my name on the deed, I'm okay. I didn't mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we did.
So the Covenant Keepers mission. I want to talk about that. You founded the Covenant Keepers to help other couples strengthen their relationships. What inspired you to turn your personal journey into a ministry?
God, for me, marriage is our ministry. That's just it. God joined Ray and I together. I know for sure. I prayed for my husband 2 weeks before meeting him, and I met him 2 weeks later, literally. And I asked him, I wanted to be married by 25. I didn't know God in the capacity that I do now, but for sure, Ray and I we were designed for one another. I just know that because of 25 years. And if you know anything about me, I don't play by my husband. So it's simply save yourself. Don't do it. And
obviously you don't play about your wife, right?
Oh no, absolutely not. Listen, I'm a lot of people think I'm passive, but it's just that I'm laid back and it just I'm not quick tempered. No. So
well, Ray, I saw a video of you downtown. And I beg to differ. You got another side to you.
Oh yeah. Listen, it's another side to me. But when you take me there, the all bets are off. Then it's like, okay, this what you was pushing the buttons. Now you activated. Now this what you finna get.
And when he activated, he activated.
When I walked away and I gave you a chance to leave me alone, you didn't take that opportunity. You came back and you kept pushing the button. So, okay, now you about to get it.
I would love for you to see the beginning of the video. If you saw the beginning of it instead of the version, then you would see how he was passive at first. Because the dude told him F him and everything, and Ray just kept walking. See, me, I would have been like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just would have been, it would have been a different scenario.
That is a hard job.
It is.
Period.
And I will say, I have never. I mean, just anybody that knows my husband, you ain't gonna. This he was made for that job because it's no. I couldn't have do. I tell him all the time. I couldn't do your job because these people like it's just so much that comes along with it, and you got to have the tough skin and the wherewithal to let whatever is whatever the demeaning things that they may say to you roll off your back. Like, I mean, I've seen some things being married to him. I didn't even like the police. Okay, so I didn't even understand how I married the police. I tell people I didn't see the police when I married him. I married a man.
Yeah, because he was in uniform, and ladies love the uniform.
I didn't care about that.
Okay.
I was not impressed about no uniform. I didn't care. We was groomed not to like the police. Like, my stepdad was one of the biggest drug dealers. Periods. Okay, like we was groomed not to like the police, and then we just did it.
Ray, looking back on your 27 years in law enforcement, what's one moment that truly defined your career?
Being a motor officer was the best time because not just because riding, but all the escorts that we did for the presidents. I think I did Bush, I did Obama, I did Trump, I did Biden. Yep, I did all of those presidents. And
don't forget the shows. I used to see you. We used to see each other backstage everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. With Detroit changing over the years, from your perspective, Ray, what's the biggest shift you've seen in the community? You retired now, but I know it was getting rougher.
I think the turning point for me was when the city went into bankruptcy.
Yeah. And
from there, I watched the city change for the better. I always talk about how, people would go to Chicago and visit Chicago and say, oh man, I wish Detroit was like Chicago. Well, when you go down there now, it's like right there. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of people complained about the regentrification or whatever. And, I understand and get all of that. But at the same token, it had to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And nobody told Black people that they couldn't go downtown and enjoy, all the newness, all everything that was built, the restaurants, the stores, Gucci is down there now, and Apple is coming down there. So it's really and then it's giving our community opportunity that I see some people taking advantage of and some people not taking advantage of.
Yeah.
So.
Like you said, nobody told us we couldn't do it. It's kind of a lot of times it's in our head. It's that, how they put the fleas in the can and they let them jump. And 3 days in, they could take the top off. The flea won't jump out.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that. Like we've been jumping up and we hit the top so much until now they take the top off. We don't even want to go down there.
Right.
Right. It's
I love downtown.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and it's just the beginning. I'm in Nashville now, and if you just see what's possible, that's just the beginning. What you see in Detroit, I judge a community off how many cranes I see.
Yeah.
When you see those cranes, that's when development is money. It's money around. That means banks are loaning entrepreneurs money.
Yeah.
And everybody's invested at that point because not only does the company that's building need customers, but that spills out into the whole economy downtown.
Exactly.
So most definitely. So I know we've been on the surface talking about love. I want to talk a little bit about navigating the tough times. Okay. So every marriage faces struggles. Can y'all share a time when things got really tough and how you worked through it together?
So I can honestly say that within our marriage, it doesn't really get. It's fun here. It's alive and it's we like it over here. I think I love it here. So, but when they do come, I could probably count on one hand how many times we've been through like a rough patch like that or a tough time, what have you. And it's always majority of the time it's with outside entities like our family, where God allows us to be separated from them, to mesh us closer. Because we understand like this as far as Ray and I, our thing is like it's me and you. You know, it's like no me without you and vice versa. So everything else is expendable, and that's just the truth. But I can tell you, which one should we start with? Which one time or this last time?
One that y'all agree on totally.
We agree on all of them.
Oh, y'all agree on all of them? Okay.
We do.
Because it's safe to say sometimes we sacrifice for the other person, for the marriage. You know, you. So that's why I'm saying that.
Yeah. So we'll just talk about this last time.
Yeah, this last time we were 10. That was
10.
Yeah.
So 10. October 10, 2010, we were renewing our vows. We had it all planned out. We knew we wanted to do it. I actually we tried to renew them in 2004 because our original wedding date was September 16th of 2000. We got married on a cruise. Because Ray proposed to me and I started looking for venues immediately to get married. Venues were expensive, and I wanted to do something at the Rooster Tail at first. Was my first option because the Rooster Tail back, that's where you.
That was the spot.
Yeah, it's just had it there. So when I priced the Rooster Tail at the time, I was like $38,000 for us to have. I think it was like maybe 250 people at the Rooster Tail, and I'm like $38,000. I was like, I don't want to pay $38,000. I'm 20-some years old, so I'm thinking like I don't want to pay $38,000 to have a wedding. So we ended up getting married. Me and my cousins were already going on a cruise. We had already scheduled it, and in the midst of that, I met Randy. So when we met, it was like, okay, all these things happened. We started dating. I became a fiance. He became a fiance, and then it was like, okay, what are we doing? And then my aunt told us about getting married on a cruise. So we looked it up. We were already going on a cruise. We added him to the. Actually, we added you from the beginning. Yeah. He was added because now he's my boyfriend. So, But then he became my fiance, and then we found out we can get married on a cruise. Something I didn't know because this was our first cruise, and me and my cousin, which is my favorite cousin, we said we was gonna take a cruise. We wanted to be cruising by the time we was 25 years old. So we was keeping our promise, and meeting Randy, it was just like, okay, now we're getting married on a cruise. So we did the information, found out about it, had a wedding shower here in Romulus. At the time, we had our wedding shower, and then we took the cruise, and it was just me, him, and my two cousins. We got married on a cruise, and at that time, that was what was best to do because we didn't want to spend the type of money that they were talking about at the Rooster Tail. He was 3 years on his job. I was fresh becoming a nurse, so it was like, no, I don't want to do that. So we did it. Yeah. And then
a house was more important.
The house was more important. Getting a house was more important, and we wanted that. So we did that. That's exactly what we did. But then coming back, it's like everybody was mad that we was married. It was like people just over the time, and as we progressed as a unit, it's like family and people just got jealous. People was falling off. It was like, and I didn't expect it. I'm like, well, we love each other. What's the problem for real?
Yeah.
And this is when I really learned that elevation costs separation. Like you're just not going to keep the same people around. There's absolutely no, I don't care what wedding it is. I don't care how nice you are as a person. I don't care about none of those things. The enemy has to come and show up. He has to present himself because this is a God thing. Anytime you're doing God's work, the enemy's going to come. So we decided, 2004, we were going to renew our vows because I didn't have the wedding that I wanted to have. I wanted a big wedding. I wanted our children involved. I wanted my family there. I wanted all the things. I'm the oldest girl. I want everything. And then 2004, Hurricane Francis ruined the wedding because we were going on a cruise again, but we was taking all our family. It was 27 people leaving out of Detroit alone. We had people coming from everywhere, coming from New York, coming from Albuquerque, Florida. All our family was coming from everywhere. But Hurricane Francis ruined it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I know God was very intentional about this because Francis is my ex-mother's name. I will never forget it. I will never forget it. So Hurricane Francis ruined our wedding. And I'm like, Lord, why would you do that? I mean, I had hired doctor, trainer. I had lost 38 pounds in a month and 3 weeks. I mean, we had the dress, we had the tux, everything was ready. Flowers, and it was ruined just like that. And I'm like, Lord, why would you do that? Like, why would you allow that to happen? And I didn't understand at the time, but God showed me. And what He showed me was that, although He allowed me to become a wife, I wasn't the wife that He called me to be. Like, there's more than just hips, lips, and fingertips. It's more than just being pretty. It's more than just, knowing how to cook a couple meals here and there. It's more. It's bigger than that. And that's when our relationship really, really began to change, and the dynamics of it began to change, because I'm from the East Side, and then I'm spoiled. My mom spoiled me. We were spoiled. My mother raised us, and we just had things. We had everything, and like, all I ever saw was strong Black women in my family. I've never seen a viable, healthy marriage in my life, before me. So I never knew what a wife should reflect. So mouth, talk, the neck, do all the things that a wife shouldn't do.
You said you were doing that prior to that point.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm from the East Side. Like, we should
yeah.
and just not knowing. And
was it extreme?
It wasn't extreme, but because if it was extreme, I probably would have left, because that was like one of the things that turned me off about Black women. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
She was like right there, but the thing I loved about her was she made the correction. Yeah. Now, had she not made the correction, like apologizing and seeing where she was wrong at, which she's excellent at that. That's what allowed me to grow and to stay. Because had it not been for her upbringing and her respect and knowing where she was wrong at, that it made it easier for me to deal with it, if you will. You get what I'm saying? So that was like a challenge for both of us, because she had to learn how to listen to me, I had to learn how to lead, and she had to learn how to listen. So together we grew in those areas, and at the same time dealing with our growth on top of the devil hammering us with our family, because he knew that was our first love, was our family. That was our first love. So that's what he attacked us with. So that was our biggest thing that we dealt with, during our growth. While we're trying to grow, we're looking at each other like, why is our family, why are they doing this?
Are we supposed to be married?
Yeah, are we supposed to be married? Did we make a mistake?
Yeah.
It's like, nah, we didn't.
So it was both sides.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was bad. And the thing of it is Ray and I were good together, but then it was like the outside entities were trying to play a part, and it was just like, okay, what's going on? Like, we were just steadily progressing. That's what was happening. Like, we was just studying, just living life, making decisions and progressing, being productive. We bought our house when we was 25 and 20. 8 months after we was married, so 25 and 23 years old. You know what I'm saying? So we bought our first house, together, and I began change. We made changes to the house. We made it beautiful. We beautified the home, and then we started traveling. It was just all the, we were doing things, but then it was like the devil just came and just allowed the people around us, moms included, mothers, and it was just like, it was just bad. It just went bad. And but I say that to say, because God allowed that to happen, but it made him and I so much more closer. Like, this is what forsaking all others look like. This is what it looked like. So I had to learn this, but I'm thinking like, we're young, so we're thinking like we got married, everything, we're doing it the right way. Everybody's gonna be happy, and I mean, we wasn't trying to be relationship goals or anything like that. We just wanted to be with each other. That's all. We didn't care about anything, any other things. And then I started modeling professionally. So I stopped nursing altogether, and then I went full-fledged modeling because they called for me to come. So I'm just like, okay. And then where we thought things would get better, it got even worse. So it just kept us closer. Like it just kept. All I can tell you is that the further everybody else got, the closer he and I bonded. Like the closer we became over the time. But that was the hardest time for us because we love our families. Like we love like my siblings, his siblings. You know, we always try to bring people together, bring everybody together. Like we brought our moms together. Like I've been on surprise his mom with vacations, and you know, we always and everybody loves my husband. Everybody. So my entire family loves my husband. Let me just say that. It's me, because I'm gonna be the one to set you straight. I'm gonna be the one to just tell you what it is, and you're not gonna like it. So his mom couldn't deal with me because it's only one queen to a castle. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like you can't
and then she knows his personality. So, and with your strong personality, she knows she don't stand a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Not in a bad way. She can come on in a good way, but in a bad way. Yeah. Okay.
And the thing of it is family. Here's what married couples need to understand is that both sides of the family, they don't know. They were never taught how to be second to the person who's married.
Nope.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? They weren't taught how to play those roles when it comes to the siblings and the sons or the daughters getting married. They don't know how to stay in their place.
They don't understand wife first.
Right. They don't understand wife and husband first.
But you gotta understand, they got years invested in their relationship with you, and then this stranger comes along and has this big influence on you. It is you gotta work through it fast, because otherwise it's gonna be a problem. Especially if it's true love. If it's not, then people can.
And that's the thing they saw they couldn't
penetrate.
They couldn't
intercept it, and penetrate,
That's it. They tried. A lot of people tried.
Yeah, a lot of people tried.
So did y'all ever have the wedding, the vows?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We renewed our vows on 10-10-10 because I told you, God said that he wasn't gonna let me be. I had to wait until I became the wife that he called me to be. So I thought I was gonna do it in 2008. I'm learning a little bit about God. 7 is new beginnings. 7 is completion. 8 is new beginning. So we're gonna do it 2007. God said, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Then the Lord said, He told me 2010. I'm like, 2010? Like what? Like we gotta wait that long? Like that was forever for a 20-something-year-old. So we waited, we planned it, and
all of our siblings was in it at first.
Okay.
On the day of,
no,
we had a whole new.
And when I say that was the happiest, saddest day of my life, it was the happiest. Wow. I was so happy because all I wanted to do was walk down the aisle to my husband, and because we did it in such a grand way, our cake was 10 tiers. We just did all the things that when you marry, you've made it 10 years as a young couple. We celebrating right now. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the money was different, I'm modeling now. So it's things is different. We've grown together 10 years. So we celebrate, but it really pushed us so far apart from our families that it was just like crazy. So we ended up moving. We left the house and moved to Taylor. Mm-hmm. And nobody knew where we lived at for like 5 years.
Wow. But that speaks to building that moat around your relationship. And to some people that's a little too extreme to give up their family, but that kind of lets you know who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what you're dealing with, if that's too much. Because if the marriage means enough to you, you will seclude yourself. But
in a sense, Eric, you have to, because we had to grow not just together, but as individuals in God. We had to learn our roles, when it comes to Him, because it's His design. We really had to study and learn His design.
Yeah.
We cannot make marriage our own thing. It's His design, and we had to really, make God our foundation. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because had we not did that, I know we wouldn't have made it.
We wouldn't have made it.
We would have made it.
So y'all basically y'all submitted to the Spirit.
Yeah.
We had to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the more we learned, the more we was like, oh, we're on the right track.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Now we teach. We find ourselves, like my mother always says, she said, I still learn from my kids because, my mother's Southern. So Southern people have their rules of their own, Southern people have their own way. And it's not always God's way. It's what they think, it should be. So we had to, change the dynamics of that and let, like, no, Mom, that's not how that go. Honor your mama and your father. I said, yeah, it tells you that, but it also says you can't provoke your children either. You shouldn't do that. So we talk about the different things, but honoring my mother does not mean put my husband after you because that's not what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have your own husband. His mom's supposed to have her own husband. That way you won't be over here in our business. That's how that goes.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Okay. So definitely I see why y'all made it to 25 years, just based on, not without going any deeper into the layers of it, the principles of the way y'all live, people can learn from that. And I hope that is, I know it's in the book, but yeah, I know it's in the book. So the marriage mindset shift y'all kind of talked about. Many people enter marriage with expectations that don't always match the reality. What's one shift that couples need to make for a stronger relationship?
When he said two flesh become one,
yeah,
you really are one. Like when he hurt, I hurt. I can feel my husband's energy. I feel his energy. I feel his spirit. I feel him. I know when something's wrong, just like he know when something's wrong. He can look at me and be like, "What's wrong?" And I'll say nothing. He'll be like, "Okay, you don't want to talk about it right now. Like, just say that. Don't just say nothing." It's you have to understand the oneness, right?
Right.
I'm not going to try to hurt him.
Exactly.
If we decided that we no longer wanted to be together right now today, right?
Yep. You cooking now. You cooking. I see where you're going.
I could never hurt him. I love him.
Yeah.
Like, even if you just say, I cannot do this no more. This is not it for me. I don't think this is where I want to be anymore. Whatever that may look like, I still couldn't hurt him like that. Like, I just cannot, I don't have that in me to do that. Like, I love you. Like, I don't understand how couples get to the point where it's just so bad to the point you just like, I can't stand the sight of them. What did you do? Like, just talk about the hurt. Like, Ray and I are very communicative. Like, we talk about everything. For instance, 2018, y'all probably saw Ray go all out. He got the helicopter. He had the dinner by the water. He bought me some red bottoms. He did all the things, like everything. I mean, blew my mind. I didn't think my mind could be blown like that, but he did.
Salute,
and that the preliminary of that was him not doing. Okay, because you're so comfortable in your position, you're comfortable in your job. I know you're good, and now you got this wife you want. You got me now, and then it's like now I don't have to do nothing. I'm not her. Listen.
Man, we do that, man. We do that. I think almost every man, and especially with your personality, Ray. So I don't stand a chance because you was born like this. So if you found yourself falling short, then it's obvious that a man who didn't without that personality, I could have challenges. So most definitely. Well, that's good that. You say he figured it out. Go ahead. Right.
Well, he had an ultimatum. It was just simply you either because we established early on in our relationship that he would have even years, which is years he do something for me, and then I have odd years, which is years I do something for him. So we been kind of like
when it comes to our
anniversaries.
Oh, okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Even
so
in odd years.
Yeah, so that way, we don't break the bank every year. You know what I'm saying? The other one can take a break. And we just feel like it's easier that way.
Yeah, it's easier that way. So when it's his year, he's supposed to go. You're supposed to go do something. You can't just be, Ray got so comfortable. He'll just sit back. And I saw nothing, no movement, no nothing. I'm the trip planner, so all the trips you see us go on, I orchestrate those trips.
Yeah.
When you see us dressed, I orchestrate that.
Okay? Yeah. I figured that. Not to say, Ray, you're not clean, but a lot of times, most relationships, the woman kind of makes that man You know, because we cool, man. We really don't need a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, and thank you for saying that. It's not, because I know when I tell some people, they're like, oh, he just must dress like a bum. It's like, nah, that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? I know how to I know how to dress myself. I know how to go to, if I need a suit, I know how to go to the store and
But you don't be bringing that like me.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you got that. That's your talent. You know what I'm saying? You model, so that's what you do.
That's just what I do. I was just that. But he just what my husband is such a t-shirt, wife beater. Like for our first date, I bought when we first went out. Our first date, I bought his outfit. I was like, "What are you wearing?" I was like, "We was just in our 20s." I was like, "I'm not gonna get you some pants. That ain't right." And
Nah, on the first date, Ray.
Hey man, you know.
But you don't have sisters, right?
I don't.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Like me.
Yeah, my mama's a dresser. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My dad was a dresser too. You know what, man? I just
he didn't hear that.
I ain't care about all that.
Yeah,
you know
I don't
I
either.
would try to find something nice to wear. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't go out like that. I didn't hang out like that. So that really wasn't my thing. You know what I'm saying? My wife really brought the fashion sense. She you know what I'm saying, she groomed me in that area, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a simple man. I didn't, like you said, I didn't need a lot. You know what I'm saying? There were things I liked, but I mean, that was one of the things she brought into my life. So,
Yeah. Most of the time it's like that. Now the covenant keepers, we talked about that. How do, if a couple wants to be involved in the covenant keepers experience, how do they do that?
So they book at mycovenantkeepers.com, and we'll do a 30-minute consultation with them, because the consultation is to see if we can help y'all and if you're really right for us and if we're right for you. I don't mind saying, you know what, you're not a good fit. We're not a good fit for one another. And letting them go somewhere so they can get the proper help that they need, because we go based on covenant. We know so counseling and coaching is simply experience. That's just simply what it is. We can never be in front of a person and let somebody coach us or counsel us that has no experience in marriage, and just read books, because it's not that simple. It's more, it really is experience. It's, okay, do you know how to pray over your spouse? Do y'all have, like, it's all different things that comes about in marriage that you may not even be ready for. You may not know how to deal with it. May not have that experience in dealing with it. If you never had a husband to lose his job, or if you never had a husband or a wife to lose a breast or anything like that, then you don't know nothing. I mean, you really just don't know until you experience things, right? So it's that, and it's upon that, those experiences, that you're able to expound on, to other couples and give them what's needed and the antidote to actually keep you all together. So, but that's how you go. You book at mycovenantkeepers.com. Like I said, sign up for the consultation, and we don't counsel one. Everybody got to be there. Yep. When it's one of us, whenever a couple comes to us, you can't just bring the wife, or the husband just can't come by himself. It has to be two parties together, because it's going to be Ray and I together. Like, I would never counsel or coach anyone that is, a woman without her husband.
Yeah,
and right. I'm not going to be there without my husband, because Ray has to give his perspective, based on God's principles, and then I give mine as well.
Mm-hmm. It's a complete complete instructions that has to come from both of us, because marriage is not one-sided.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And sometimes we even crisscross. Sometimes I have to talk to the woman, and sometimes she has to talk to the man, because they need to see certain interactions. You get what I'm saying? And certain examples. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And how we coach, our coaching is very raw, because in your face, because the devil is going to be raw and in your face.
Right.
This is not a fairy tale. It's not a cartoon. It is what it is. Because when life starts to hit, you guys need to understand that we have to come together. We got to deal with this together.
Yeah.
We've had clients from people that want to put their kids before the husband, and or I mean, from everything you can imagine, from infidelity, of course, everything. She spent all the money, he make the money. I mean, every situation that could possibly come up, we probably had it before.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask. So you have some success stories over the time you've been doing it. Okay.
I don't stop it until we get success, unless they just tap out. It will take them to tap out. It's not going to be us, because we go in, like we go hard, like it's like our relationship, because that's what you do when marriage is your ministry. That's just what it looks like. You can't just be the happy person. Like it just can't be. Ray and I, like, we thrive to create a lot of viable, healthy marriages. It's not. I don't want it. It's not just about us. And to be honest with you, when people understand that marriage is the edification of Christ, it's not about you. It's not you. You don't really see us talk about relationship goals, couples goals, or what have you. You don't really see us talking like that, because this is God. Like, when you understand that He's the glue, then He's going to be the one to sustain you. Then you also understand that leaving is not an option. Like, you understand that there is no outlet. We have a commitment on the table, not just before one another, but it's also before God. And when people also understand that God literally grieves when you get a divorce, then there's certain things that you just won't even do. Like, when you aim to please God, there's certain things that you just cannot do, and it's just that something you have that God fearing about you.
Let me ask you this. Early in my, and I don't want to get too far into that because I got a lot of respect for my ex-wife. Early in our relationship, the D word came out. Like, I'm talking about very premature. I don't even want. It's embarrassing how soon one of us said. And I ain't even saying which one of us said it, but I want a divorce. That word, I don't know. Have y'all ever experienced that word?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's real. It's raw.
Yeah.
That word kind of, it put a hole in the boat for us, because I thought, words, they won't. Yeah, they really won't. And it kind of makes you feel like, I thought that's never an option. You know what I'm saying? And when that becomes an option, you can't allow that to be an option, because you're going to find the weakest part of, you know what I'm saying? Like, wherever the weakest link is, that's where it's going to be challenged. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where it goes, and it just kind of festers. So I'm glad that y'all got a chance to make it through those times. Are y'all familiar with the Happy Wives Club? That's no, that's Fawn Weaver.
Oh no.
Okay. She had something called the Happy Wives Club, where she went and did an interview on 12 couples. So she did, I think, 1,000 couples overall. And she broke it down to she broke it down to people have been married for at least 25 years. That was her criteria. You had to be at 25 years. And she went to 22 countries. She found these people, and she built her mantra off of these 12 things that a marriage needed to have in order to be in the Happy Wives Club. And the first one was mutual respect. She said all of those couples that lasted 25 or better and were actually happy, it was a mutual respect thing. I see y'all got a mutual respect. I see it. Like, so that's why I asked you, Ray, man to man, even though we're not in the same room, I said, was it extreme? Because men, a lot of times, we have a threshold that you're okay as long as once you start crossing that threshold, it's extreme. Now it's threatening the relationship. Because a lot of times you go through a lot of volatile things in marriage, but as long as you don't cross that threshold, certain things, you know what I'm saying? Even you, D'Wanna, it's certain things that, okay, he could do this, he could do that, but we don't play with that.
Right.
And when it gets so extreme in marriage or with your spouse, I just want to make sure, because you said that it was a problem, but I want to see from him, was it extreme to that point? So for him, you were good. it was bad, but it wasn't bad enough where he was going to walk out on you.
Yeah.
Or start to sabotage it.
Yeah.
Well, I could say this. Did it cross my mind?
Yeah.
You gonna leave me?
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I'm just being honest. I'm human.
Yeah.
So it was extreme then.
Yeah.
When
you say extreme, like in what way?
Because I thought about leaving because I wasn't happy. I mean, just because I didn't get what I want or you didn't do the things for me. I mean, I need to be happy.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by extreme? What's extreme?
What I meant by extreme was it disrespectful? Because a lot of times they say men need respect, women need love.
We both need respect.
Exactly. So that was where I was going next.
Yeah, it was disrespectful.
Yeah, it was disrespectful on both ends.
Okay.
But
let me just say this. So I'm candid. Let me just I don't know how to dance beat around the bush because this is what it is. So initially, like I said, growing up, all you saw was all I have is strong Black women to be in front of me. That's all I know. They the go-getters. My mama made sure she had 6 kids. She never stopped. She just never missed a beat. So with that being said, and she never took crap from dudes. Like anybody she was involved with, and all my aunts are like that. Like that's just the way it was. So when I met my husband, I didn't know what it was to fully be a wife. Like I just did not know. Plus I had baggage. I had previous boyfriends, baby father, all that stuff. And then he in the streets. Now you had somebody in the streets, and you had, because my baby father was a big time drug dealer also. But my husband, he's just the total opposite. Like literally, it was like night and day. And we get accustomed to these dudes that don't know or value you,
right?
Or don't how can I put it? Are not as experienced, or even just don't have the wherewithal to know how to treat you. Like they don't even.
Yeah, it's not that they don't want to; they don't know how to.
They don't know how.
Yeah. The know-how.
The know-how.
Yeah.
Exactly. So with that, I come here and I'm thinking, oh, you can't talk to him the way you talk to him, because he's not him. He come home every night. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about where he at. He's not embarrassing you. Just different things, and just learning how to control my mouth and my anger. You know what I mean? And how to redirect that, because sometimes we just grow up mad and just mean and just mad as hell. You know what I'm saying? For no reason, and it's not the person you need to be mad at. And that's just me being able to self-reflect and say, okay, you out of order right here, man. You know what I'm saying? You need to get yourself together. Like this ain't that. And I thank God for the grace and mercy that He's had over our marriage and us individually and collectively. Because that's where I went wrong at. Like just the talk, like just your mouth, it's the mouth. I can't tell you. It was never no like fighting or physical or anything like that. It's more so. It's just the mouth. Younger. I'm 20-some years old, and I'll be like, "What your punk ass?" That type of thing.
Yeah. That's extreme.
That's extreme to you?
Yeah, that's extreme. That's extreme because respect. So it's kind of like letting somebody cross you, even while you out. You see somebody try to they try to disrespect you. You got to put your foot down immediately, or you'll find yourself in that situation every time you see them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And for you to say stuff like punk ass and stuff like that, it's like you can't allow that. If you allow that, you're gonna run into an issue. So that's extreme. If I say something, you don't stop.
We were in the basement, and I can't remember what she said.
Yeah.
But she hit the right button. I popped.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what I said, but I turned around and I said what I said, and she did like this. She went, "Don't yell at me."
Yeah.
And I told her, "Don't, X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. Don't do that." You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And things began to change because she just thought I was just this.
Yeah.
She did. She thought I was a punk, right? But like I had to explain to her, my position
I didn't
as
think you was a punk. I just thought you were different from what I experienced.
Right.
So it was not that, because I've seen you in your rah-rah mode, but not with me.
Right.
I was his kryptonite.
Right.
I was his weakness.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I could manage that aggression with other people, but when it come to her, she made me weak. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to be. I didn't know how to be respectfully aggressive.
Right.
To her without being disrespectful. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that was something I had to learn with her. Now I when I'm out on the street, yeah, I can apply it all day long. But when I come home to her, this is where I need to be soft at.
Right.
So I didn't know how to use that aggressive, but
he was never rah-rah.
Yeah,
one time he told me, and I was like, I knew exactly what he was about to say, because I remember I was like, oh, this thing's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on.
Now I'm crazy. Now I'm crazy because, you know what I'm saying? I snapped back. Now I'm crazy. You see what I'm saying? But if I would have been quiet, then like, oh, he saw. But when I snap back, now I'm crazy. But see, that's the persona that happens in marriage. When one thinks they can get over on the other one, and then the other one pops back, then it's like, oh, you crazy. It's like, no, you just need to learn how to approach the person and respect them and talk about the concern that you have, opposed than just to taking out your frustrations out on them, because you're really not mad at the person, you're mad at the situation.
Yeah.
So as a couple, we had to learn how to deal with the situation and not be mad at one another. Now, of course, if I did something, left field off the wall, okay, I can't really expect her to be
like
happy
wash
about
my
it.
clothes.
You know what I'm saying? Like
wash my good clothes.
Oh Lord.
And they just ruin for life. Why would you do this, sir? Like who raised you? Like
he called himself being domestic, and you put the good clothes in.
Don't touch the clothes no more, sir. Leave the clothes alone. I mean, I ruined so many things. I'm just like, you did. And it's
probably like 5 things.
That's a lot. So it's like, I'm like, why you ever had raw silk before? Like, why you just leave it alone? Like, you just ruined the whole
Well, I'm gonna say this. I've never had raw silk. I think back in the day when silks was in style, we was kids. But was that even raw? I don't know. But
no, raw silk is different.
You got raw silk.
Raw silk will shrink up on your butt. Like it don't even. You can't even. You just got to throw the whole thing away. Like
well. Speaking of clothing, I don't want to go past this interview without talking about your company, Infallible Furs. Tell us a little bit about that.
So Infallible Furs was created in 2021, and it originally started because I had a vendor and I bought a fur from one of my girlfriends for her birthday.
Yeah.
Never thought about selling furs or clothes in general. Just wasn't my forte. So I ended up getting a vest made, a bolero I had created that I designed myself. And I asked my vendor to make these long gloves to complement the bolero. Mm-hmm. And they did. And then we went to Dubai. Once I went to Dubai, I came back so inspired.
Shout out to Dubai.
Huh?
Shout out to Dubai.
Yeah. I went to Dubai and we came back so inspired. I was so inspired. I'm like, wow, after being in business class, like, we can't never go back there. Like, we got to do something. Like, what are we going to do? Like, I need to make more money because I like this life up here. I like this traveling. I like this the way we travel. I like the things we do. So how are we going to do that? So I came back. I think I was off social media for 30 days. And the Lord told me, do furs. And I'm like, furs? I'm like, okay, but how? It's like, this is what you're supposed to do furs. And I was intimidated. And I was scared. I'm gonna be honest, I was scared. I was like, who gonna buy furs from me? I'm like, don't nobody like me. They're not gonna buy no furs. That's what I thought to myself. And then it was like, okay. So I ended up got a partner that I wasn't supposed to do. But I reached out, got a partner. I was like, look, You don't have this in your boutique. We need to get this in your boutique. Da, 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 blah, blah, blah. We're going to do this. You're going to call yours this right here, and I'm going to call mine this right here. I made her business cards. I did everything. I even gave her my vendor. But I had 4 vendors. I only gave her 1. And my husband told me, he's like, babe, don't give her all the vendors. Just give her the 1. I'm like, well, she needs the vendor so she can be able to have different styles or whatever. He's like, no, just give her 1. So this time I was obedient to my husband because at this point I've learned what being obedient looks like. Because it really is a thing. Just because he said nicely, that don't mean he's not.
Yeah, that don't mean he doesn't mean it.
He's telling you for your own good. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give her the 1. So surely enough, I gave her the 1. We ended up falling out before the launch date because she tried to basically steal my idea and make it her own. Like I wasn't even incorporated in it. So I told her we was gonna make 50,000 by the time the month was out. I said by the time, so we're gonna make 50,000 in 1 month. Look, baby. I said we was gonna make 50,000 in 1 month, and okay, and we and I did, but God allowed us to fall out first. Okay.
Yeah.
We fell out. I made 48,000 in 2 months.
Wow.
And that's when I really understood, like, okay, God, I see where you was trying to take me to. It was never for us to be together. So Infallible First derived off of that. I made $15,000 in the first launch night. And people just been going crazy. So I get my furs from Europe. I go different regions of the world, if you will. And I mean, it's been good. I wanted to normalize luxury in our community.
Yeah.
Because people would always look at me because I'm out and I got on a fur and I'm in Walmart. And they like, why she got on the fur in Walmart on a Saturday? Because it's cold outside.
Right.
Did you check the weather? A full length one. So I got tired of, I wanted everybody to feel like I feel when I put on my meat. I mean, it's just, I'm putting it on because it's cold. It's not for a statement. We live in Michigan. I'm cold. So that's what I did. So we launched it and it was a hit and here we are.
Okay. Congratulations. I see some of your stuff online, man. It's like, it's this burgundy one. I don't even know if you want to call it burgundy. What's the name of that color? Because
it's Bordeaux.
It's what?
Bordeaux,
man.
Bordeaux with the
crazy. That sucker is so rich. The color in that, that boy was hot. Tamara Anderson, she said to D'Wanna, because he was different from what you were used to, was it difficult to change your mindset?
So no. I'm big on doing what's right. And I instantly knew, like, God just gave me wisdom, y'all. Like, I can't even make it like it's anything else. It's just God gave me wisdom, and he ordained this. So he was already going to shift and make the changes in each one of us to make sure we complemented one another and stayed together as well. And although it wasn't a challenge because I love him. And I genuinely love my husband. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I can't imagine this life. I'm like, if something happened to my husband, I'm telling y'all right now, I will not be okay. Like, just know that it's going to be a whole problem. And yeah, but it wasn't hard to make that change. Now, Ray so let me say this, my husband has never, in the 25 years we've been married, has ever called me out my name. So I just want to be clear.
Oh man, you a bad boy.
Listen,
you got to teach your own classes. Yeah. Listen.
No, my husband, when you know it's real and it's right, because my husband made me better, right? Like, he showed me how to love people even when they're unlovable. Because it's some things, I'm sure he looked at me like, I've seen him. Like, God has given me the spirit of discernment. And I can also, I know what he's saying. I know without him saying nothing, I can tell you what he's saying. It was one time we were going into the restaurant, and when I walked in the restaurant, we were at Sweet Georgia Brown, because we used to go there all the time. And when I was walking in the restaurant, everybody just stopped and turned around and looked at me. And I had on this black dress, and it was pretty, but we in Detroit, this happens all the time. Like,
right.
Like, what's wrong with these people? So everybody, like the restaurant, everybody just stopped and looked like it was, I don't know who they thought that, Diana Ross in the building. They just looked like, oh, okay. And everybody, you can tell people, you can tell people telling them to look around, like turn around and look at her, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I felt like everybody was watching me and I didn't like it.
But with your heels on, how tall are you with your heels on?
6'4".
6'4". So you got to understand. Yeah. It's a lady on social media. She had like 4 million followers, and she's 6'8" with no. Yeah. So you got to imagine, and she's like, yeah. So yeah, you your presence. Yeah.
But that's because I didn't understand my presence. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. I didn't know all these. At 20-something years old, I didn't know what I was bringing to the table. Even in my 30s, I tell people all the time. I was talking to my daughter's father earlier today. I was like, I really didn't realize I was an influencer. Like, I was influencing people until I was in my 40s. Like, I was 40 years old. And I'm just like, you got the sauce, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. I didn't really realize that. And I know that's kind of alarming to people because of how I always presented myself. But that's just groomed. That's me, just how I was groomed as a child. My mother, all my sisters are like that. If you ever see me and my sisters together, you're going to always see us in unison. Okay? I don't care what's going on. Listen, you're going to see it's a unison all the way across the board. That's just how we are. My mom, you're going to say, as soon as my mom walk in the room, you're going to be like, oh, that's exactly what she got it from right there. Yep, that's her right there. Yep, that's her.
You know what's funny?
But I didn't.
Detroiters, I'm down in Nashville. Detroiters are literally like superheroes, and we don't know it. See, it's normal for us. Like, it's normal. But I'm telling you, that's why people say all the time I met this lady and she told me, she said, you're going to do really well here. She said, because you wear so many hats and it's natural for you.
You were in Tennessee?
Yeah, I didn't know you was down there, man.
Yeah. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee now. It's been 3 months? I moved down here. Yeah. But literally, we are superheroes and don't know it. Like that's why we can go anywhere. Think about how we move abroad. Like, y'all like literally celebrities anywhere y'all go. And a lot of it is that D swag and energy.
We don't see, like, for me,
I didn't see that.
I just, in my mind, I'm getting up mad in D'Wanna's black-owned business. I'm not even concerned about. My mind don't even think about, I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna shock him with this one.
That's the superhero part of it. you don't even know it.
I didn't know.
Yeah, you don't even know it. This is your natural default. Super is your natural default.
It really is. Yeah. But people really be thinking in their minds like, oh, she did this, or she doing this on purpose. She thought that was well thought out. No, it just comes like this. I'm telling you, I get other people dressed like this. This is my natural. This is a natural thing with D'Wanna. But I had to, when I really realized, like, you really that deal, girl. Like, it wasn't until I turned 40. I was like, y'all should have told me. Like, nobody really told me. But
I tried to tell her.
He did.
I said, babe, have you looked at yourself?
So in the restaurant, let me tell you, in the restaurant, we went in there, and I'm looking at this. It was this one Caucasian lady, and she turned around. It was just the way she whipped her head around, and she looked me up and down like that. I didn't like that. I said, what are you looking at? Didn't your mama teach you not to stare? I'm like, y'all have no clue for nothing. Nobody taught y'all nothing. Like, this on my whole rant. And y'all always want to be this and that and this and that. Y'all don't even have no tact. Like, you don't stare at people like that. Yeah. But then my husband was he was so embarrassed. Like, he was like, the way he looked, the disgust on his face said it all. It was like I told him all the time, like, your forehead became a teleprompter. And it was just like, you are so gorgeous, but you are so ugly right now to me. And that's one thing that a woman never, ever, ever wants to be to her man, right? She always want to be seen as a beauty in his eyes. And that look that he gave was just like, I'm like, what'd I do? He just looked at me like, he didn't even say anything. He didn't have to say nothing. And from that point on, I knew. And then we got home and we talked about it. He was like, babe, do you realize what you look like? What you see? Like, you don't see what you see in the mirror. No, I've been looking at this face for 40-some years. I don't see what y'all see. It's normal to me. I see a lot of beautiful girls in Detroit. Detroit got a lot of bad women up here. Like, literally. So when I'm standing next to them, I'm just one of them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even thinking that I'm just in my own lane as far as I'm concerned. I never rated myself as that.
Were y'all outside? Were y'all in another state when that happened, or a country?
No, we were here.
No, we was in Detroit.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, when I'm in another country, they come up to us like,
oh my God.
That's what I'm talking about, man. I already know.
Listen, we were in Istanbul, Turkey. Okay? We was walking down the street like we normally do, and all of a sudden, these Asian people come out of nowhere. They got their cameras out. The little Asian man come up to her, and I like let her hand go because I already knew it was about to happen. So I stood back, and she turned around, and she's like literally like looking down at him like this because they're so short. And he's like, "Want to take picture with you?"
I said, photo.
Yeah, photo. And then another one came up and said, "Is she famous?" I said, "Yup, she famous." I said,
"She definitely famous."
He's calling all his people because they was all like standing in the cut trying to see how I was going to respond. And they were just standing, and they just all came and swarmed us. I was like, what the heck?
I think I saw that. Y'all posted that. I saw that.
You did?
Yeah. Yep.
It happens all the time. We were on the elevator
when
we did the 2018 thing for me. And we were on our way to dinner. And the dude was like, wow, y'all are great. And I was so annoyed with him. And I don't even know. I just was like...
It was a white guy, too.
No, he was black.
No, he was black.
No, he was a black guy. He was black. I won't forget him.
Why were you annoyed with him?
Huh?
Why were you annoyed with that?
Because, first of all, I was trying to video myself on the elevator.
He messed up the selfie.
I was doing the video because we was on the way to the thing. And then he just came in and cut me off. He was like, wow, you guys are great. He was loud, he was like, you guys look great. He had been drinking. And I was like, okay. And then so I stopped my video. Well, actually I didn't stop the video. It kept rolling. Like I kept it going. And then he was like, Randy was like, thanks, thank you, whatever. And then he's like, what are you guys? Are you guys with BET or something? Like, who are you guys? And I'm like, we're the Randolphs.
The Randolphs.
He's like, oh, okay. The Randolphs. Oh, okay. That's cool. He's like, so who you guys filming with? I'm like, sorry, like,
because we had a videographer with us, so he was like, oh yeah.
He always thought we was part of production.
Speaking of the Randolphs, let me ask you this: How do y'all feel about hyphenating the name? Because, okay, I feel the same way.
We were talking about this the other day to my little cousin.
Yeah.
Two flesh become one. The Lord ain't saying nothing about hyphenating your name. Okay? Yeah. What did you holding on to your name for? It's gone. Goodbye. Good night. Leave it alone. That's honoring your husband. I'm sorry.
It is.
Honoring in that.
See, to me, you're not ready. You're not ready to submit yourself under God, submit yourself under your husband. You're not. Anytime you need to keep a part of yourself that don't need to be there, you're not ready. Because that's all it is.
We can agree if a brand is already established.
I'm still gonna change my name.
Right. But I mean, we will at least keep it on the product. You know what I'm saying?
To the bank?
Exactly. When you go to the bank to cash that check, exactly. I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I agree with that.
I feel like that hyphen automatically just does something. Like it just keeps it.
It leaves a crack for the devil again.
And that's what I feel.
Yeah, because even if you don't say it a lot of times, which you should, but we try to be understanding as men, especially, I did. I said, okay, if that's all I got to worry about is a little hyphen here and this there, I'll be all right. But it kind of gave me a little bit of bitterness along the way. Because if I have to die for you, if I have to protect you, if I have to provide for you, if I have to minister to you, the least I can have is that. But that's so that's personally, that's how I feel.
It's a respect thing too.
Yeah.
God was very intentional about when when he did marriage, when he created marriage. He didn't create it to be, everybody does it their own way. And that's the thing. When I don't say everybody does it, a lot of people do things their own way. And I get it, some things work for you that may not work for us. But let's just talk about the basic principles and the fundamentals of marriage. God never said anything about hyphenated names. And why? Yeah. What's the purpose? What if you have offspring? What you gonna name them? Your hyphenated name?
Right.
I mean, what are we doing? And that's just, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't even, if I was a man, I wouldn't even want no woman. You're gonna keep your name, I'm gonna leave it with you. I'm gonna leave you with it.
Yeah. And see, and that's another thing. Like, a lot of times people, but I'm speaking specifically on women. Men disqualify women on certain things that we don't even say nothing about. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that we just you can be disqualified for, you not even know it. Mm-hmm. I think you should, as a man, you want to talk to them about it and not just think, because sometimes people don't know.
Right.
You know, but when you bring it up and it's still an issue, and it's something that you stand on, like, well, it's a variety of things. I don't want to get into nothing specific, but you definitely, going into a marriage, you got to make sure that you have those boundaries. You need to know ahead of time. You kind of want to know yourself. Y'all didn't really even know yourself when y'all got married. If you know, is that safe to say?
Yeah.
You know ourselves. We was 20-something years old.
Well,
we knew what we wanted.
We knew what we wanted, but we didn't like.
I'm saying as spouses, part of y'all.
Know.
Yeah.
No, nobody knows.
Exactly.
Grow to be.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a growth thing, and I tell people this all the time. So I'm very transparent about our lives, because I don't want you to think, because we make it look good. I know we make it look good.
Yeah, y'all do.
And we make
y'all make it look like it's not even real. So me talking to y'all, I see it's definitely real.
Oh yeah.
And it's definitely something that I'm glad I was convicted on this right here. So I knew, because I'm in a whole nother series right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure people watching, they like, where you come up with a marriage series? Well, this is something God put together. So just know. And y'all, it doesn't, I ain't not gonna say it didn't look real. It just looks more like Ray was being pulled along.
You know what?
We're go ahead.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think the majority of the people that I knew.
Yeah.
That's what they thought that it was.
Yeah. Talking to you, Ray, I see this is intentional.
Right.
You ain't being pulled along at all.
At the end of the day, like I said earlier, yeah, she upgraded my fashion. Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Because some people be like, oh man, Ray wouldn't even wear that. You probably right. I probably wouldn't go out and buy a Louis sweater. You right. I wouldn't do it. But when you get somebody, like I got somebody, they supposed to upgrade you.
Right.
They not supposed to downgrade you.
Right.
It should be a compliment. You get what I'm saying? Now, she has upgraded me in my fashion sense. And like she said, I have taught her how to love better.
It ain't just, it's so many things.
Yeah, that's just two things. But that's just an example of that's what marriage is. That's what growth is. Yeah. When you grow in different areas.
Yeah.
25 years and y'all still, so listening to y'all, 25 years, a lot of times, you ever seen somebody, the average person average couple at 25 years, when they kiss, it just look like you actually be embarrassed for them. They done got so, but y'all, I still feel the energy. So
it's there.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I think I had 5 years, going on 5 years, and I couldn't see another 20. I just couldn't see it, and it's some things that speaking on your book, Honor the Vow. Shout out to y'all on this is the first book.
First book together.
First book together. Okay. Okay. Tell me a little bit about Honor the Vow.
Honor the Vow came at a pivotal time for us. Ray had just left DPD. He was actually supposed to. This is our first time. This is exclusive, by the way. We haven't even. We were supposed to talk about this on our own.
I'm honored. I'm honored.
Yeah. So, we were supposed to. Ray was supposed to go to the Sheriff, the Browns. He was trading the Blues for the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because of some things that's going on with one of the head, with our sheriff, it's been in the news. Let's just be candid. It became political. It became politics, right? Everybody knows this is what they do. This is what they. It's a transition. It's most cops that leave DPD, they're going over to the sheriff. They're going over to Wayne County, and because of the camaraderie, Ray had actually worked under the sheriff's command at one point when he was at DPD. So he knows us. He knows my husband. He knows us together. Mm-hmm. So because he was going through something with politics and it was election year, they elected not to hire my husband. So without going into too much, this is our friend though. This is somebody we call our friend. We've been on vacation with him. It's our friend. So without getting too deep into it, that was March, right? March. Something we're up in there like March. We end up finding out that wasn't going to happen. Now we were in the middle of about to build a house. House was $450,000. My husband in our household, my husband gets the house. I get the cars and the motorcycles and all the other stuff. Ray gets the house. We keep his income for that reason alone. Yeah. I would just go on the deed of the home instead of the credit aspect of it, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
So, when your income changes drastically like that, because we're about to go to get another job like that. We already did the preliminaries. Everything is set, ready to go. They've been to the house. The sheriff did. They came out. Because they have to do a personal in-home interview with you when you transition over like that. So, everything's set and ready to go. Well, it didn't. And I was devastated.
Yeah.
Now, I'm used to, my husband's a man. He's a man's man when it comes down to, making provisions for our home, making sure he's a provider, a protector. Ray is that person. I don't have to work if I don't want to. I work because I like to. First of all, I can't just sit here and do nothing.
Right.
Just not her. But my husband is going to make sure things are taken care of, and anything that I have is just extra. That's just the honest truth. So when that didn't happen, we literally were devastated because we were ready to move, and the Lord told us that we had to wait. So this was 2024 last year. Yes. Okay. He told us we had to wait. And this was the year that we were supposed to move. So we just know everything is moving smoothly. We got the builder. We got the blueprint. We know exactly. We got the land. All the things that we aspire to have in our new home. We're about to make this happen. And boom. Nope, you're not. So we pulled some money from his 401k just to sustain. Okay, let's go ahead and we got to keep going. You know what I mean? We got to keep going. But this is very uncomfortable for us because we're pulling from what now is our savings, like our later money. When we were ready to retire,
reserves.
He has strategically set things in place ever since I've known him. That's another thing that's really one of the attribute about him that he has is when it comes down to health. What do you call that stuff? Life insurance, health care, making sure the savings is right, making sure his money is growing over here. He's very, savvy when it comes to that. So he's always made sure the security was in place. And now it's not.
Right.
So when the devil can't reach you no other way, see, he's not out here embarrassing me. I'm not embarrassing him. Now he's gonna come. I'm coming for the juggler now. I gotta take you out, and that's the finances. So we knew we weren't crumbling under that because now I gotta show up. And now you gotta put the work. Let's go. Okay, it's go time. So I'm becoming the brains of the operation. My husband is the whole time losing it, like losing weight. He lost so much weight. It was really the saddest thing ever. So now I'm having to balance mental stability. You know what I'm saying? Making sure he's good mentally. He's been a cop since he was 19. He's never worked anywhere
that's
else.
all he knows.
That's all he knows.
Yeah.
Okay. And all he knows is his city. I have begged my husband to move out of the city for me to have opportunities because that I've had. And he's like, babe, I just can't move. He said, I just can't go there. And I'm not about to leave my good husband in Detroit. No, we're not doing that. So I'm staying here. So it's just like, wow, like, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do? So here it is. I'm making moves. Let's go. Okay, I'm on it. But this can only go for so long. So what are we going to do now? So now he's applying to other places. Well, they see that Wayne County turned him down. They want to know that goes throughout. Anytime that you apply for a government agency and they turn you down or they deny you, then it's throughout all agencies. They see that.
Yeah.
They have access to that. So now it's like, okay, apply for somewhere else. And they didn't even give him the opportunity to even. They didn't ask you for your nothing. They just made a phone call and to Detroit for some reason, and somebody was just like, nah, leave it at that. I don't know who was hating on my husband like that because I don't know, but it was we had to go through it. We had to.
Yeah.
Because now God said, I'm about to show you who I am for real. Like, I know y'all know, but I'm about to put my super on y'all natural. And I'm going to do something that you can't give nobody the credit for. You ain't going to give your husband credit for. You going to give me credit. Listen, nobody gets the credit. God said, nobody going to get this credit but me. Okay?
Right.
Still, we're still going along. I'm trying to make sure he's good. And it's killing me. It's paining me to see my husband, like, just so in a way, like, because he was hurt. He was so hurt. And it was the saddest thing to watch. I mean, I'm talking about you don't even understand the prayers. Like, God, why would you allow this? You know?
Yeah. And
in June, he got a job, but it's not making. It's like, what is this? I'm like,
it's not that one.
Police officer, like, you are Detroit, not Dallas. You are a Detroit police officer, sir. You a bad boy. We talking about 27 years, okay? No criminal history, no scandals, no, none of the things. Honest, okay? And I'm like, what are you doing, babe? He's like, I gotta get a job. I'm like, these is pennies. I said, this is pennies. What are you talking about? So we go from $10K a month to $4,000. And I'm like, what is this? But I have to tell you that God kept us the entire way because I was getting court orders from, I didn't even know where I was getting them from. Okay?
Yeah.
God said, I'm not going to let y'all go. You're going to go down like that, but I just still need you to know that I'm in charge. And surely enough, we praying our way through, praying. And the Lord showed me God had to get him back to where, like, God wanted him like this, like he was before. And it wasn't that my husband didn't know God or he wasn't honoring God, but it was like, I don't know, you felt like you stepped away for a minute, right? Like, you not stepped away, but not doing all the things that we would do on a normal basis.
Yeah, got kind of lukewarm.
Yeah. So whereas me, I ain't never left. I'm right here. So I'm like, Lord, like, we pay, but my husband pay his tithes. If his check $7,000, he gonna give $700. He pay his tithes. He give his, he honors God. He's still committed to his wife. But God, like, I want more from you. And the Lord showed me that. And he showed everybody that was around us that was close to us that it was like, D'Wanna has to go through this because she's your wife. But God this ain't about D'Wanna, this is about you. And it's a you and God thing. And God he was reeling my husband in, but it was one of the most difficult times. But I can tell you this, after 3 days of fasting, we fasted and prayed, and we just drank water. We didn't even eat any food. We were on Belle Isle. A lot of people didn't even know we was out there with stomachs and our backs. Okay. Yeah. They didn't even know we out there dancing and looking cute and all this stuff. They have no idea that we on here praising and praying to God, asking him to have mercy on us. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't know we're just in the space, and I'm watching all our money just dwindling away, and it's like, what are we doing? And I'm ready to move. Like, Lord, I got to move. Like, I prepared myself. We got the credit and everything, but you can't get it. You can't get the $450,000 house with the money you
Yeah.
make. You
Yeah.
can't get that. Y'all, you have the 800, you have a 900 credit score. You ain't getting
Yeah.
it. So God allowed a woman who was very intricate in our lives and still is to come and tell us that the same woman that told me we had to wait 3 years to get a house, which we waited our 5, right? She came and told me, she gave me a scripture. And she told me about the scripture and everything, and I read it, and I'm just like, Lord, patience. I've had patience. Like, I've been patient. You said this year, right now, this is the year. You got 6 months to show up. Because Isaiah 55:11 says that your word don't come back void. It can't come back empty. So what are you talking about? John 14:14 says, you do whatever you want to, whenever you want to. Why are you not showing up right now? What did we do? Show us us. Show us what we got to order at. Still praying. And I can tell you that when we came out of that fast, this house dropped in our laps. The one we're in right now. And not only was it,
Congratulations. I remember when y'all posted it. Congratulations, man. Y'all deserve it. Y'all deserve it for sure.
So not only was it $450,000, it was over $500,000 house. Okay, with a 3.5% interest rate. Because where they doing that at?
Yeah, they ain't doing that. Not when y'all posted that. No. I think they lower now.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like God did all the things, and He showed us who He is for real, for real. Like, when you ain't got nobody else, like we already believed in Him. Like, you can't tell me nothing about God. Like, I'm sold out. Like, I've been sold out.
Yeah.
But now it's even, and then some. And then you come in the house and you get to do all the things you want to do in the house. Like, it's 6 months and our house has been transformed. This house has been made home and it's been transformed, like, in major ways. People take years to do what we've done here in this short time we've been here, and that's nothing but the grace of God. And that's why I tell people that. Go ahead.
No. So y'all created the book to help pay for the house?
No.
I'm just.
The book came in the middle of the house.
Okay.
And the book came in the middle of a storm.
Oh,
Why
okay.
would you be thinking about writing a book?
Yeah.
In the middle of a storm.
Okay.
The Lord told us to write that book. Honor the Vow. Because in the middle of the storm, when everybody walks, people usually skate in the storm. They're ready to go. They don't want to deal.
Yeah.
Okay? You got to go to you're going to get your stuff, and you're going to go about your business, and you're going to go about his business. You stay there, and you stand, and you honor the vow.
Okay. Yeah, that was a joke, by the way.
Huh?
That was a joke, by the way, but yeah.
Oh, of course I know.
Okay.
I know.
So the book was created in the midst of that.
Yeah, the book came in the middle of. We never even. I wasn't thinking about writing no book, and we did it so fast. We wrote it faster than we did my first book. But when I tell you that, God said, "Get the book, do the book," and I'm like, Lord, I know you told me to write this book. Like, how we gonna finance this book? Because I'm not about to give my money away for nobody to read no book. Like, and I'm not about to do it any kind of way. I'm not about to. It can't be just any book. It can't be just any kind of way. It has to be. All the things have to come along with it.
Yeah.
God said, write the book on the Bible.
So the book is based on. What is it based on? What's the premise?
The book is a 90-day guide, basically, to get couples, whether you're seasoned or new, but to get them back into loving, like really loving one another, like what real love looks like. Because it's not just about, everybody think it's about the frills and the thrills, and it's really not. It's about those things that nobody knows about, that you're going through, but y'all still coming through, unscathed and untouched, because y'all decided to make this thing go together. If there was ever a time that we most couples would have broke up, it was that time. Like, for sure. Like, easily.
Okay. And it is a classic example of us honoring our vows in the storm. That's how it came to be, because people fail to honor their vows when it's worse.
When it get hard.
When it gets hard.
When everything has dissipated. You have nothing but one another. What you gonna do?
Yeah, it's hard.
So, that's hard.
It's hard. I've
been
through it. And when you're in it, you cannot see outside. You can't see, and then once you leave it, because once you leave it, you look back at it and you see so many ways you could have sustained it.
Mm-hmm.
You just got that grass is greener type mentality, and you got all these other people in your ear, and this person to you is just, because I don't know if this is true, but they say statistically when men get into relationships, our testosterone drops because we're hunters, and I don't know if that's true. I've heard that, but I can see how something like that is possible. And women, y'all can sense that the testosterone is low, and that's a turnoff, or at least it's not gonna get your juices flowing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you want a man. And a man is at his best when, so prime example, when you were going through what you was going through, Ray, you weren't in the hunting spirit, I'm sure. You were wounded and going through it, and somebody that wasn't right for you at the time could have took advantage of that moment. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what agape love. Because you said something. You said that you would, and I wanted to go back to that. D'Wanna, you said that you love him regardless to whatever the situation is. You really love him. So if y'all decide to go separate ways, God forbid, I still love you because I love you. Yeah. And that's real. And that, and when I would say to people, my grandmother loved me unconditionally. They say, well, your wife can't love you unconditionally. Well, I understand that because it is a little different. Because if you come in the house and say you got a baby outside the house, it's going to be hard to love you at that moment. I'm going to be disappointed in you, and I might even leave you. But if you really love me, I made a mistake, and but I've never been through that, but I can imagine somebody going through something like that. And a lot of people do go through that. It's hard to love at that point. But grandma used to love me she would talk to me, not yell at me, even when I was wrong.
Right.
That's you could do that. You don't take your grandma to do that. So yeah, most definitely. That's a good look, y'all. Y'all built an incredible example of love and commitment. What's next for you both? And then what legacy do you hope to leave for the future generations of couples, man, that's coming behind y'all, reading the book and everything?
Right now, we're like a sports team. You know what I'm saying? We're in some areas we're in the building stages. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My wife is on her journey of her, because I told her, I said, this is your time. You have to be selfish with yourself. You give so much of yourself. I said, this is your time to be selfish with yourself and put yourself in a position where you could look in the mirror and say, I did that, and feel good about what you just accomplished. And that's what I want for her, and I want her to want that for herself. So we're just in a stage now of rebuilding.
Yeah.
And once she gets finished doing what she's doing, I don't want to put it out there because I didn't ask for her permission. When she gets done doing what she's doing, then you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go and start my journey. You know what I'm saying? And
we're just setting up for our future. We have plans right now.
Yeah, we got plans, and we
working our plan.
Yeah, we working our plan. That's the best way we can put it.
So what legacy would y'all want to leave with people coming up behind y'all that read the book, and then just y'all peers?
So it's our peers. We had our God always. So let me just say this really quick. I think I said it earlier, like marriage is not about us. It's about the edification of Christ, right? It's about God getting the glory out of the situation. So when we do, anytime, if you ever notice anything about us, we have 2 anniversaries. We have September the 16th, 2000, when we got married originally. We have 10-10-10 when we renewed our vows. So September the 16th, we always have like this couples game night or couples thing over to our home that we fund and pay for ourselves, but we also invite other couples out. Like we just started doing like a couples end of the summer like field day, and it was to bring back that childhood. You know, when you remember your childhood, us being our age, you know, we think about the good times because I feel like we had the best times, right? Us growing up. So I mean, we get couples over and we get them interacting with each other and in their team playing with one another. We've actually restored marriages by doing that simple task because people understand, like, just doing a relay race with your spouse or the third three-legged race, and they're enjoying themselves and they see the team that they have, and everything just kind of dissipates and goes away, and they say, okay, let's hit the reset button. So I say all that to say, when we did Honor the Vow, we included 25 couples, and we included 24 couples, us being the 25th, because this is our 25th year anniversary. This will be 25 years in this year, and we included these other couples to tell their testimony in the story. Like, everybody always talk about the pretty, but let's talk about the ugly. Let's talk about how you got here. Let's talk about when you left your marriage. Like, we have one couple in the book that we actually had our hands in their marriage and, you know, keeping them together and everything. And we did good as long as they followed our instructions and everything we told them to do. But they ended up getting a divorce. And they were married, I think, I want to say 17 years. Mm-hmm. And they ended up getting a divorce. And then not even, I want to say 11 months later or 9 months later, I can't remember exactly what it was, but they were back together in less than a year and married again. Because that's what God ordained. You know, everybody wanted to take their break. You know, and let's not really you can't take a break. You need to get in and break up the ice that's in this situation where y'all are so cold with one another. Because that's not love. Like, right? Like, I'll do anything for my husband. So anything. There's nothing that Randy could not have for me. Like, nothing. If he say he wants it, he don't even have to look, and he don't even have to give an indication. If he just lets me, if I know that that's something he desires, like this original sweater, I got the green and green and white. Cast-tech colors. I didn't know they was cast-tech colors. I was getting it because it matched my outfit. Yeah. Well, he was like, "What about they ain't no black and gold? Yeah, it was cast-tech." I'm like, "What?" Cast-tech situation. So I ended up getting the black and gold just because he wanted it. Like, there's no ends of the earth it's nothing that I would not do for him. And he knows that. The objective at the end of the day is we should be out loving one another. Like, if you're too busy trying to do something for me, you too busy trying to take care of me and do nice things for me, and I'm over here doing the same thing, it's always a tit for tat in a good way, right? And it's out loving one another. So that's the objective at the end of the day. And if there's a problem on the floor, let's talk about the problem. Because don't get me wrong, we do have the problems on the floor. Like, we just don't make them all big. Like, they're not going to be that big. What are we going to do about it? Because I'm like a problem solver. So the legacy that we plan to leave behind is keeping people together. Like, I want people to know, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't even want to be famous no more. I thought I wanted to be famous. I don't want to be famous no more. Yeah. I want to be known for how I've impacted your life. And help you make life-changing for the better decisions that you'll always remember me by. Yeah. That's what's most important. When you say that you love the Lord and you say that you're a Christian and you have a purpose here on this earth, because we all do have purposes. Everybody has a purpose. Your purpose is always going to be for the benefit of somebody else. It's never just about you. So on our anniversary, September, that month, we use that to edify other people, because it's not just about us. We should take time. Most people don't even think about, they're not thinking about nobody on their anniversary. No, they're not. I'm sorry. It's about them. I've never heard of anybody being intentional about focusing on other people during their anniversary. You're right.
So mycovenantkeepers.com is where they can get counseling, couples counseling, different resources. And then www.DeWannaRandolph.com for the book. Y'all make sure y'all support this couple. If y'all got a quarter of what I've been getting for these last 2 hours out of them, they are the real deal. I'm definitely, if I ever get back in a serious relationship, which I plan on it, I'm definitely gonna reach out to y'all. I really don't listen to nobody with less than 25. So y'all right there at the cusp. Yeah. MyCovenantKeepers.com is where you go for any type of counseling. Honor the Vow is the book. You go to www.DeWannaRandolph.com to pre-order the book. I'm definitely pre-ordering mine as soon as we done. This has been great, man. I appreciate y'all. It's love and gratitude for y'all coming on here. And I'm praying for y'all. I'm definitely praying for y'all.
Thank you.
So
we're always very excited to just share us and share what we know, because at the end of the day, like my wife said, that's our ministry, and we just want every couple to thrive, because that's what's going to keep this world going around. Marriage is the first institution of family, and if you got family and you ain't married, that's a key ingredient that's missing in a lot of households. So, it can work. You know what I'm saying? And when it stops working, it's because you stop working.
That's it.
Listen, man. So what can I say? Wonderful conversation with this beautiful couple. I'm proud to call them my friends and colleagues in influencing. And I appreciate everybody for coming into the show. I appreciate the support. Y'all be blessed and keep the love alive, and reach out and support this beautiful couple, y'all. This beautiful Black couple. Peace.